Good morning. Welcome to Flat Earth Early Bird number 1619. I'm your host, Arwin. And before we start the show, please don't forget to share it on any platform you deem fit. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. That will be much appreciated, and I can always use the support. Thanks Skeptic yesterday for the PayPal donation. I much appreciated. Please keep it coming. This is basically a water droplet on a hot plate at this point. Could sure use more. Anyway, weather today is not so sunny, cloudy. It's really cooled off. It's been continually cloudy, windy, and last time I checked it was 15 degrees. So that prediction from the weather about tomorrow certainly didn't work out at all. Said it was going to get warmer, but it isn't. Right. Hello Oz, first in chat. Good to see you. It is Friday, the 2nd of June 2023. Starting a bit late again. But this time not because I woke up late, but because I went out for groceries and I just thought I'm gonna do it all in one go and then I can be there for the Flat Earth debate without leaving. Hopefully Nathan's computer's not gonna crash because of that. But we'll see. Anyway, hello Bill Nye, the Science Denier. I think that I bit on my lip this morning or something. I'm not sure. It just seems like it's a bit swollen or something weird. And I thought like it's a mosquito bite, but I think I like bit on it in my sleep or something. It's weird. Anyway, it doesn't really show that much, I think. Hello Richard G, good to see you. So how are you guys doing? Thought yesterday's show, despite it being pretty short, was very good. Didn't really know to give it a title because it was just like all over the place. We'll see what happens today. Bit inside of my lip. Yeah. Or maybe it wasn't like bit because I don't feel like a wound in there, but maybe I just like just kept like soft pressing on it for some reason. It's weird. And it usually doesn't happen on this side. Usually that sort of thing happens on that side. So it's like a bit weird. Don't know what's going on. But I'm doing just fine. I know it'll be gone like later today. Right. Anyhow, yesterday's Flat Earth debates was pretty good. After show also wasn't super long. I think just an hour. Wait, no, the show went on a little longer, and then I think like the after show was like half an hour. Right. Of course, Owen Benjamin streamed much later in the night, so it's good to have him back. But I didn't like. I went to bed because it was past 1. So I watched like an hour of it and continued that this morning. Right, what else? Yeah, nothing in particular. I just kind of hung around, played games and stuff, and right. Anyway, I'm pretty much blank slate subject-wise. I mean, I think I could probably talk about spirit mechanics or something like that, or flat Earth. Pretty much whatever you guys would like. Yeah, by the way, my back and my hip is like, it feels like back to normal again. It's like I have to like be reminded, like, oh wait, no, everything is all right over there. So, but I'm also using that extra freedom now to basically like do more stretching exercises and all that, build up a bit. Because it gets my blood flowing and it's like healthy and stuff, and it's the right time of the year. Actually a bit late for that even, but I mean I had a lot of issues in the last month. Right. Alright, so that's it, I guess. I might as well just round out the show then. No subjects, no suggestions, nothing. I'm late, nobody showing up. Except for Richard G and Bill Nye, the Science Denier, and Oz not speaking for 6 minutes after their entry. I get the feeling that today is going to be kind of a stressy day. Don't know why. Maybe it's something to do with George Sanford literally not showing up in chat, yet he was able to comment in my video from yesterday complaining about me always being late, which is just great. I mean, nothing better than a guy that has been around for years, never donated, to complain about me being late. That's always just been great to read a comment like that. Right? Complain but not contribute. That's just great, George Sanford. And not showing up when I'm actually going live. Right. But I still got a lot of energy. I feel pretty stable. I could go anywhere with the show. But yeah, it all depends. Is there going to be some kind of a spark to basically make it happen? You know how this works. Right? If everybody present doesn't really care all that much then there's nothing to spark me into actually do what I do. Because it requires like the active attention that is palpable to me of people that are participating. That's why the new guy, what do you call again? Luke Duke was made such a great show because he was actually curious and new and enthusiastic, and that is a great spark. There it goes immediately. This is also why I say share on any platform you deem fit. Are there any people around that might appreciate what I talk about? Been working a lot on my mood and presentation as well, so I think I'm less of a, how do you say that? Because I'm like a bit of an oddball. That's really how I started out, and especially after I went rage win and all that. I'm a bit weird. I get it that you might not want to share me, right, based on everything that I've done, but I mean, it has improved, hasn't it? So let other people know about me. Right? I mean, the numbers are probably not going to properly reflect the amount of attention I'm getting anyway. It doesn't matter. But if there's people that would actually appreciate what I do and be interested and even want to interact, well, that would be great. You don't mind rage win? Yeah, well, I'm not some stupid carnival act that's just there to thrill you or something. But yeah, rants, I do rants sometimes, and I try to do them really, like, not misguided. Which is tough sometimes, because the level of aggression can become pretty extreme, in my mind at least. And then it's tough to keep it normal, or proper expression of anger, which is already, like, way beyond what the typical media face proper is out there. I'm already past that, pretty much. But I could go even further, and then it's just completely inappropriate and it's be seen as a raging maniac, and I bet that in the past at times I was just seen as a raging maniac. But I'm not always like that. And now when I get angry, I work on it. Much more, provably. It's all there. The whole record of what I've done here. And besides that, there's a lot of flat earth related things that you can talk about with me. Right. It's kind of weird, by the way, that sometimes Seeking Starwater does this whole description of the flat earth according to the riddle. But, like, I don't even fully understand what that means, and I wonder if she does too. I hope it's not like creating a rift or anything between us. But sometimes I just don't get that. I just want somebody to actually explain it piece by piece what all of that actually is supposed to mean. When they do the little rollout riddle. What is this again? The dialectic plane or something. That thing. Because I don't really get it. I will recognize it, like phonetically, but I don't get it. What they're saying when they say that. It would be great if somebody came in to actually explain it in detail. I'd even get you on. Like, on with me verbally. Right? I mean, it's not worthy for you to be in the chat. I mean, I'll just misread. Okay, fine. I'll give you a voice to actually get on my show with me and verbally explain me. right? Right. By the way, yesterday's Flat Earth debates, I remember now also what was going on there. Was this whole thing about the seasons in accordance to heliocentrism, how that has to do with the tilt of the Earth. But there was this whole hassle surrounding it. Hello, Flat Earth Sage, good to see you. And then after the after show, after the recording was over, I had some ideas about it. But it was just confusing to me. I don't know what's going on. But from what I understood is that the sun has its own specific pattern, which is like the way it rises and it climbs and sinks in its trajectory throughout the year in accordance to the season. I think there's like an amalema or something it's called. A certain type of pattern it follows. And that is then attributed to the tilt of the Earth. But the funny thing is that if it would be, let's presuppose for a second, heliocentrism, well, if it would follow that pattern because the Earth is tilted, then so would all the other planet patterns, specifically. The stars not so much, because the Earth doesn't wobble, it's just tilted versus the universe in this setup, in the idea of it. I mean, it still doesn't make any sense, all of it, but within heliocentrism, that's supposed to be it. That's how I was taught it in school too when I was much younger. The Earth is tilted. Doesn't change its tilt. The tilt is like in relation to the universe. And the rest like goes around the sun, and that causes the seasons. But then also like the other pathways of the planets, which are slower, but they would also undergo the deviations in accordance to the tilt of the Earth, because they're all part of the solar system. They're all moving in their presupposed orbits around the sun in a very specific pattern. If the Earth is tilted in relation to the sun, then those patterns should also be accompanying the swing of the sun. Sort of that same analemma pattern. Even though they're much bigger, it might be harder to trace, but they should be following the same pattern because they are in the solar system. They're not in a separate reference frame from the sun. Like that. They're moving in their elliptical orbits around the sun in a consistent fashion. They don't just swing in their orbit or something. Like it goes like this, and then suddenly it goes like that. Like that doesn't happen. Right? So, if the Earth is tilted in relation to the sun, and that causes this analemma pattern of the sun in relation to the Earth, then it should have that exact same pattern applied to the overall orbits of the planets in our solar system. And I don't think that actually happens. And this is, funnily enough, like a real argument for geocentrism specifically. Because it separates out the sun to be not the base reference frame for the planets, including the sun, presupposed to move around. No, the sun is more or less just like another planet. And it has its own little analemma pattern shift, but the other planets don't follow that because, well, they're not actually in its reference frame. They're in the reference frame of Earth, and so is the sun. Like, mathematically. Isn't that interesting? It's like, oh, look, the heliocentric model. Yeah, it doesn't really work, does it? Because, yeah, oh, the Earth is tilted because look at the sun and Lima. The way it shifts around, that's because the Earth is tilted as it moves around the sun. Well, then all the other planet sightings should undergo a similar pattern in a synchronized way, because they are supposedly in heliocentrism in the reference frame of the sun in their path. But that's not happening. They don't undergo that same analemma of the sun. They have their own trajectory. So Earth is central when it concerns this reference frame situation, right? And you can even leave out like, oh, are they really bodies in space? Is Earth really a ball? You can leave all of that out. And still, it's not logically heliocentric. So therefore, geocentric. Isn't that just hysterical? Hello, Clutch and Amanda Young, by the way. Steamy Traveler, good to see you. Should there be slight wobble towards the axis? I don't know, Flatter Sage. But here's the thing. If they claim an actual wobble within the axis of Earth, presupposing it's a ball and it's spinning, etc., well, there's no way that can work. There can't be a wobble. Because if there would be a wobble, then like the sphere of the heavens would wobble. It would wobble with it. It would shift. If there's even the slightest wobble, let's just say that there's a wobble towards the north. The axis at the north side goes around in a little circle. Well, guess what? Okay, Polaris would not be a dead center then. It would continually move around in a circle. It doesn't do that. And neither does the Southern Cross. Like the Southern Cross is like a circle sort of moving around, but it would instead then wobble. But the star sky doesn't do that. So anything in heliocentrism, anyone that claims there's a wobble in the axis of Earth, just completely shattered the logic of it. Because the stars aren't moving like that at all. They're set in a consistent angular relation and they slowly rotate. And those angular positions don't change. It would. If you're in a wobbling axis of supposed ball Earth, you would have the sphere of the heavens wobble. It doesn't do that. Hello, Philo PNK. Philo PNK. Oh, okay. Hello. Right, so that was kind of part of the conversation that was on FVD yesterday. And this is like my rollout of that I was able to discuss in the after show, because during the show I just had kind of trouble following them. We're getting very mathematical. And that always makes me lose oversight rather than reinforce it. Have to do with some parallax with what? What do you mean? Polaris doesn't shift. If there's a wobble in the axis of presupposed spinning Earth, then the sphere of the heavens would directly reflect that wobble. It would not be consistently rotating. It would be wobbling as it's rotating. Doesn't do that. Right? The angular positions of the Southern Cross and Polaris don't shift. They don't. Can I get an agreement on that from you guys? Okay. Polaris, the angle of Polaris on one location on Earth, and the angle of the Southern Cross, they don't shift. Is this correct? Or is this not correct? Polaris appears to move in a very small circle. Yeah, but is that part of the rotation of the apparent celestial sphere? Or does it mean that Polaris is just not exactly dead center, but as close as you can get? Right? A wobble within the axis of presupposed sphere Earth spinning would be, again, my hands are now representing the celestial sphere. Normally they move like this, right? If it's a wobble, that means that one side is going to wobble alongside rotate. It's not like the entire thing should then be moving. You see? Do you see my case? It's extremely small. Yeah, but it's not the entire celestial sphere that's wobbling. It's just this star that's not exactly dead center. That's all, Nigel Nordströmer. Right? Because if there was a wobble, a serious wobble, you don't get to see the star making a circle. No, you get to see the whole thing making like circles. Like they would thread outside of the circular path. The wobble side of the celestial sphere wouldn't leave just neat circles everywhere. It would become weird and like almost blurred out. Like the circles would just keep making like a subcircle, all of it. That's what a wobble does. But that's not happening. Right? Yeah, but I think what Nigel's talking about is just kind of nitpickiness, and that is that if you really zoom in super hyper telescope on Polaris and you set it super strict set, then yeah, turns out that Polaris, even though pretty much at the dead center of the celestial sphere at the north side, is not actually exactly the super precise middle point. So then, all the way zoomed in, you can see it make a circle. But that's not the entire thing. It's not the rest of the stars that are also making a tiny circle, even as they make their bigger circles. That's not the case. Yeah, it's not a wobble. It's just the star not being dead center. I've heard of this before. Forest is that in your back? It's not a forest. Oh, you mean? Yeah, that's actually animated. This is a CGI background, but a nice one. I like the CGI background. Right, let me show you for a second. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? And it's not just a still picture too. It's fully animated. It's very impressive. Yeah, Adam Meakin picked it off the internet somewhere, and so yeah, I've been using it for years now. I got another background too. Don't know if it's gonna work though. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. But I rarely use this. It's a little dramatic. I should use it when I go rage win, but I just don't think of it when I actually get angry. Yeah, well, logical conclusion, that sounds like complete horse shit. There's no wobble. I mean, you're just straight out claiming there is a wobble. If you're gonna say, oh, it's very small, but there's something. Oh, yeah. So there's a wobble then in the entire celestial sphere, is it? Yeah, it's very cute. It's very cute. Very, 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 very small. But how about the rest, though? So are all the stars doing that? Or like between that and absolute zero towards the south? Like what is it just frickin' Polaris? Because if you're just going to be like, oh, it went in a circle, that means the whole thing is deviating that little amount. Or Polaris is just not exactly absolutely dead center. I don't see like where this whole wobble claim even comes in. But even if you do measure that amount of degree deviation, how do you know that that's actually the entire celestial sphere doing that? I think it's just about the measurement of Polaris here. Right. So yeah, I mean, this time-lapse photograph that Steamy Traveler showed definitely proves that there is no wobble. Yeah, these star lines are very circular. They're not wobbling. Yeah, Oz. Whatever. Am I so boring? You're just paying more attention to things happening in my background? Serious, Oz? It's not an overnight wobble. Oh, so you're claiming that the celestial sphere changes its angle independent from Earth, do you, Akumu Virus? So even if you stand at one location forever, the sphere of the heavens is gonna move, will it? In relation to you? Really? Or it doesn't do that at all? Because I don't think it does that at all. I don't think that the angle of the poles of the celestial sphere changes. That's what you would have to have if there is a wobble in presupposed Earth spin. That's what we were talking about. You're talking total horseshit logical conclusion. You're not being very logical at all. The stars don't change in relation to the other stars. That's why star maps, like very, very, very old star charts, very old, like the ones you'll find in ancient temples and shit when you dig them up in the desert. Some of them might have that. Yeah, well, guess what? It's exactly the fucking same star chart. Yeah? The angles are exact. The angles between all the stars on the celestial spheres are absolutely exact, and they've never changed. Stars never shift in relation to other stars. That's never ever happened. Star maps don't change. Ever. Right? And that's not even what I was referencing, by the way. Yeah, there should be parallax if we're indeed a spinning ball Earth spinning around the sun and that's shooting through the galaxy and all that. Yeah, there should be a lot of movement of stars in relation to other stars. Yet there isn't, ever. Because we're not a spinning ball Earth orbiting a sun that's shooting through the galaxy, through the Milky Way. And that is all moving also. Like, that's just not what's actually happening. The star charts are perfectly consistent. What was in question here is the nature of the rotation of the celestial sphere. And if there is a wobble. There isn't. It's not wobbling. It's just moving consistently as it always does. Yeah? You move north and then it rotates like that. Move south, it rotates like that, right? That's all. It's not rotating like this over the years. It's not like, oh, look, yeah, we're in that time of the year where Polaris is now 10 degrees from the ground instead of 12 or 15, right? That doesn't happen. So there's no wobble in presupposed Earth spin. There can't be, or the celestial pole would shift in accordance. And the whole celestial sphere would then rotate its angle in accordance. And that doesn't happen. What the fuck are you talking about? Bernard star. I've never heard of that. For fuck's sake, come on. Wow. Okay, Bernard, it's some astronomy bullshit. Yeah, I just looked it up. It's just the astronomy bullshit story. Yeah, when I looked what's the significance of it, it didn't even say that it changes in relation to the other stars. No stars change in relation to other stars. This is a myth. Or just a straight-faced fucking lie from astronomers. Why is it bullshit? Because stars don't shift. They don't change their angular location on the celestial sphere in relation to other stars. That just doesn't happen. Where is the fucking evidence for your garbage assertion? that didn't even pop up when I Googled it. Lying scumbag. What? Wanna grab more bullshit stories to try to like undo everything that I just said? Yeah, it's not gonna work, you asshole. It doesn't work like that. Yeah? Bernard's star, whatever the fuck it is, a star, it doesn't change. Google lies. Yeah. There's no mention of angular position change. You're just a liar. If it's so significant because of that, that would pop up. It didn't. Fastest moving star. Yeah, it's all presupposed bullshit, Richard G. I mean, it's not even moving. It's just imagined to move in a virtual galactic reference frame. It's just fucking retarded. That's all it is. It's not moving in relation to the other stars. It's not a planet. Yeah? Planets move in relation to the other stars. They have their path on the celestial spheres. If they don't have a path on the celestial sphere, they're not planets. They're stars. They're stars, that means their angular location on the celestial sphere doesn't change. Yeah? Is that clear? You're just squirting bullshit. Lying. Just lying. Yeah? How does it feel, ballers? How does it feel to just make up lies? Lies to counter everything that I just said about reality, about what's actually happened throughout recorded history, about the celestial sphere and the observations about it, and the chart about it, yeah? How it doesn't change. And so you come up with some stupid astronomy story about Bernard's star and how it's supposed to be moving around and all that in a presupposed galaxy. It's not based on actual observation. It doesn't change its angular position. There's no mention of that. Yeah, there's no observation deviation. Yeah? It does change. Yes, of course it does. Keep chanting. Keep chanting, liar. There's not even a mention of it. It's not there. Yeah? Let me go through this shit again. Let me go through this shit. I have to dig through all this garbage math. Ugh. Horrifying. I just want to know about this freaking star. Dude, it's literally just placed on the star chart. They have a consistent star chart and they're showing its angular location. I mean, it doesn't change angular location. Okay. Except on this chart. Huh. Okay, that's freaking weird. Okay, I take it all back. Apparently, there is some actual visual observation here about it. Moves in a straight line, apparently. Very, very slowly. Over the stars. across the star sky. Funny, by the way, that you get to see like the rest of the stars and they're like perfectly still. So it is sort of a wandering star then, I guess. How bizarre. Well, then it's technically a planet. Whether you're going to say, oh, it's not part of the solar system, that's not relevant. I mean, technically, if it is wandering, it's a wandering star and would be classified a planet. How weird. Yeah, and the astronomers are all screwy about it. It seems like they've already claimed that it is a sun, so yeah, no wonder that they can't say like, oh, hey, we discovered another planet, here it is, it's moving very slowly, like a super orbit. Huh. Yeah, I'll show you a video. But yeah. I mean, I got my senses scrambled up. Because, yeah, I mean, if it's literally wandering, well, then it's a planet. I mean, that's just a freaking fact. If it's wandering, it is a planet. That's how it works. So, yeah, here is that animation thing. So they did actually have visuals. Yeah, apparently its angular position changes in relation to the rest. Well, that means it's a planet. Kind of interesting. I didn't know that. Right, but not part of any Wobble, by the way. It's separate of the rest. A planet? Yeah, well, Bill Nye the Science Denier, technically the word planet means wandering star. Like, that's even like in astrology. Right. Planet is a wandering star. That's the classification. So I guess that would definitely make Bernard's star a planet. But the heliocentrists are of course not admitting it. Yeah, wandering star. It's a wandering star. A wanderer, whatever. That's right, wandering star is an old name for planet. I know, that's why I said it. I'm not making up etymology. You're speaking. Oh, well, I'm speaking to you because this is my freaking live show. Yeah? If you're gonna make bullshit arguments in my chat, I'm gonna address them. I don't care if you're having a conversation with somebody else, yeah? You can't have a private conversation with somebody else in my chat. Do you understand? Yeah? I'm going to involve myself with it. This is my live show. Yeah, that's right. I did say you made up bullshit earlier, but that's because it was completely illogical in the setup that you presented it. Because you pretty much said it as supposed proof of the wobble of stars deviating, but I mean, it doesn't make sense in the logic of how astronomy started. If it's a star that's stationary in relation to the rest of the stars, it's a star. If it's moving in relation to the rest of the stars, it's not a star, it's a wandering star, renamed into planets later when heliocentrism starts to reify all that garbage. That's how it works. Yeah, Bernard star moves. Well, okay, fine. You brought it up at a moment where I directly associated with what I was discussing at the time. But if it's moving, it shouldn't be classified as star. Yeah, I heard you! What the fuck do you want, you wanker? Fuck you, I'm just gonna kick you out. A piece of shit. Just whining and complaining. Nitpicking bullshit. Spamming my chat with your garbage. Just get the fuck out of here, yeah? There's a star, it's moving. Yeah, that's very cute. It shouldn't be classified a star then, if it's moving. It should be classified a planet, because that's how that works. Yeah? And whining endlessly just makes me kick you all the fuck out because you're a bunch of wankers. All you do is just hang around like you have no fucking life, just waiting for some kind of entry to insert your heliocentric garbage. Just to distract away from the consistent outline of reality that I was presenting, yeah? That there is no axial shift within the celestial sphere as it rotates. There's no wobble there. And one frickin' star apparently moving very slowly in relation to the rest doesn't change that. And it shouldn't be classified as star because it's moving. Stars don't move. In relation to the rest, that is. I mean, it all moves. Most stars? No! Stars don't move. They shouldn't move. If they did move, then, well, you have to figure out a cyclical pattern of them. And then they would technically be, they should technically be classified a planet. They're having an orbit, supposed. I mean, this is just how the whole astronomy works, how it all started, yeah? Astronomy didn't start presupposing a frickin' globe. It's just mapping the stars, mapping what's happening, what's visible. Oh, LSG. Yeah, LSG, don't address the dick. It's just being a dick. And they roll in something And they basically just want me to be wrong about whatever fucking bullshit thing they just fished out of nowhere. Then of course I have to misinterpret it because I was in the middle of basically saying things. I didn't expect a troll, a baller troll, to literally insert a red herring. I just didn't see it coming when they did. So I said, like, that's bullshit, and they didn't see it right when I Googled it. But then I Googled again, and I did see, like, oh, it's just a star moving, so it shouldn't be a star then. Right? But it had nothing to do with the whole thing that I was talking about before that. But he's got his win. That's why he's squirting all over my chat, and that's why I had to kick him out. Because I was technically incorrect in a moment. Which immediately burst open this giant can of enthusiasm from the baller side. Like, oh my god, a flat earther was wrong. See, we were right all along. Flat earthers aren't God. They can be wrong, which means everything they say can be wrong. Which means all our bullshit retarded assertions about what the earth is could be right. Because they could have been wrong about all of it. Right? That's what's happening. That's why this suddenly all pop up after I just made an error because I didn't size up what was being talked about properly. And they all have this crazy little dance. Right. So the next time somebody rams something randomly in my chat, I should either just immediately kick them out, or I should more carefully look it up, realizing that that it is a red herring most of the time. Right. It's the hazard of having a live show. Stars move faster than others. Now, what are you doing, Bill Nye the Science Denier? It's pointless. Right. Technically, yeah, the angular speed of stars at the equator part of the celestial sphere, the middle line, yeah, they are technically moving faster than more at the poles of the celestial sphere. So that's what's happening. Right? But they're not actually moving. Nothing is actually moving. It's all apparent. Only thing you have is the angular speed and position. Hello, Cleary. Wow. Birds are really draining that water bowl, man. Quick. Right, anyway, we're moving closer to the end of the show. I'm gonna figure out what to name it. I hope you all appreciated it. Wish I didn't make a stupid mistake, but I did at least correct it. And then kicked out person. Was getting really on my nerves. So I'm probably gonna name it after I was talking about celestial sphere. Or south. What? Okay, Cleary. I'm not sure about that. I don't think that actually works out. I mean, it works out the same as any kind of claims from ballers like, oh, why do the stars rotate in a different direction? I mean, they don't. So whatever you're going to see in the sky, how it's moving as the celestial sphere is definitely consistent with the globe. With that idea. Like, otherwise, nothing about it would work ever. It wouldn't even get started if that factor didn't match, and it does. So I think you're probably mistaken there, Cleary. I mean, it's the same kind of idea as like, oh, I'm on the other side of the Earth, and the moon is like rotated 180 degrees or something. Like, yeah, it does actually work on the globe. Okay, logical conclusion. Yeah, sure. Right, but it's a very technical show, most of it, which is what I want. I want technical. I just don't want the math nerd ballers because they really piss me off. I'm not great at math. Don't need to be. Yeah, I don't need math to understand the form. I don't need math to understand the structure or the form. So numbers end up like flustering me. It's like I don't know what to do with numbers overall. I mean, I could probably, if I really put my mind to it, I just don't want to put my mind to it. Because it's a waste of time for me. There's people that are much better at it. And I don't need it. It's not like I'm completely stuck because I can't get past the math. No, I can absolutely get past it. That's the point. It's just like programming. I really get programming. I just don't know how to program. And I don't have the patience for it. I could probably learn to do it. But I would never be super good at it. Because I would get distracted all the time and get a headache from it. But I definitely understand how it works. So I definitely understand how math works. It's just I'm not good at it. Right, anyway, I hope you all enjoying the stream so far. think the title sums it up well enough. Celestial sphere does not wobble. Right? I mean, this is really the counter to this claim that the Earth might be wobbling in its presupposed spherical spin. Well, if the Earth would be wobbling in its presupposed spherical spin, then the celestial sphere would directly reflect that wobble. And it doesn't. The celestial sphere doesn't wobble. Conclusion, from a heliocentric perspective, just trying to match the observations with the model dictates that it can't be the case. The Earth can definitely not be wobbling because the celestial sphere would then also be wobbling. All based on the presupposition it's a sphere, etc. But even within that, you'd have to know that the celestial sphere is not wobbling, so that means that even if you think the Earth is a ball and spinning, it's definitely not wobbling. Because it couldn't be. Because then the celestial sphere position and the angles would change continually. And they don't. Thank God they don't, because, I mean, celestial navigation would be a giant pain in the ass if that would be the case. It would be much less reliable. Alright. So, hope you all enjoy. Let me know in the chat. 10 more minutes. Could the Earth be stationary and the celestial bodies wobble a bit over time? Could they do it? Oh, I don't know how the celestial sphere actually is manifesting. I don't know the physical mechanics that allow it to be the way it is as a non-local holographic projection that perpetually surrounds us. Could it be wobbling? I don't think it is wobbling. Could it be designed to be wobbling by God? Well, he could have chosen to do that. But it isn't. So no, I don't think that celestial bodies are wobbling over time. I mean, there are wobbles within celestial bodies separated, right? Because this is about the difference between separate bodies like the sun or planets or what's that thing again? Bernard star, right? Separate celestial bodies might move in relation to the rest, but the whole isn't moving in relation to the Earth, other than the standard circular pattern. So no, the Earth is definitely stationary. It's not a separated reference frame, right? But the celestial bodies, they're not wobbling. Separated planets and the sun and all that have their wobble. They have their analemma pattern, the sun does. And the planets also have certain types of patterns that are oscillating but consistent. But that's separated. Like they're separately doing that. Separately following that pattern in the celestial sphere. The rest of the celestial sphere is not doing that. Right? And I mean, even the wandering stars, including the sun and the moon, are not even following the same exact patterns like that. So they couldn't even be classified as one unified moving thing like that, as one reference. You can't even do that. Because they don't follow the same oscillations, the same patterns exactly. if it was all one system, as the solar system model suggests, it would kind of do that. It would follow a universal pattern overall. They don't. They all have their own separate patterns, a separate oscillation. And so does Bernard's star, apparently. Right. So I hope that answers that question, Steamy Traveler. Ah, man, I haven't even touched my salad bowl. I do feel good, though. It was good to have some movement before starting the show. Stars seem to disappear above a certain altitude. Yes, very mysterious thing indeed, Ilishi. Another contributor to my conception of the celestial bodies being non-local holograms. Like, what else? You know, if there's light coming from it, but you go towards there, which would be up, and then no longer the light, well, guess what? It didn't come from that position from a thing then. Yeah? When you see something and you move towards it and then it's gone, that's called a hologram. It's like a rainbow. You try to go there and oh, the prismatic light effect got blocked off and now the rainbow's just gone. It's holographic. It's not actually a thing that's radiating light over distance. It's a manifestation, like a hologram. It's with angular consistence. But as you say, you approach it enough and then it's gone. So it's not coming from an object in that position, transversing all that way to the observer on Earth. That's not what's going on. So it wobbles every... What are you talking about, Richard G? No, celestial sphere doesn't wobble at all. Yeah, Richard G, I've heard of that, but the Go Fast rocket had an auto brake system that kicked in. It didn't actually bump into anything physical. If it did at that speed, it would be much more logical to assume that it would literally completely crush the whole rocket, including the camera. That didn't happen. Right? Just imagine the speed it went. At that speed, doesn't matter what you're gonna hit. It's gonna absolutely explode the whole thing. Even without any explosive munition in there. Show stars, but showed sun. Yes, Richard G. Yeah, and that's weird because it's different. The sun and the moon look different up there too. They're still visible, but it's like they're smaller. Did you know that? The total angle they take up around you visibly is smaller. It's really weird. And they also bend away. It's like you're gonna aim for the moon, right? You're like in a rocket. You got a camera on front. You're like, there's the moon, here we go, baby. Oh, the moon, oh, why isn't it changing angular size, damn it? It's still the same angular size. What's going on? And then like, what? Damn it! We've gone off trajectory, but I went in a straight line. How can it just move? Yeah, it just moves. Just like suddenly the angle wasn't the original angle anymore. Okay, and the same happens with the sun. Now that's freaking weird. That's why I'm always saying, like, well, go prove they're physically real then, Icarus. Go there. Try to touch it. it's gonna be elusive. It's like you're gonna go straight at it, and then suddenly it's not at that angle anymore. It's like where's it going? You can't get there. That's what I think actually happens. Never actually seen somebody literally test that out, but I've been calling for that for a while now. Like, somebody do an Icarus test. Just prove to me that those celestial bodies are literally there. Or show what happens when you attempt that. I believe, because I don't have direct evidence, but I believe that the celestial body, even the moon and the sun, they wouldn't increase in angular size, and then they would move away from you. Like bending away. It's like, it's right there. And oh, wait, it's not there. Why is it there now? And then you have to try to change your course to follow it. And you just keep changing course and you never get there. It's like bending away every time. That's what I believe will actually happen. But I haven't seen any actual evidence for it. But I have strong suspicion that that is what would happen if you did an Icarus test. But nobody's done it just yet. Right. But I am rounding out now. It's a pretty good show, I think. Thanks everyone for coming. I hope you liked this show. If you did, then please don't forget to Rogan's it up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I'm going live, which is normally 1 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekdays and 2 p.m. Amsterdam time in the weekend. And please also do support me through the PayPal and the Patreon. That we much appreciate it, and I can really use the support still, so please keep it coming, guys. I really need it. Right. So, I'll be back tomorrow with Flat Earth Early Bird number 1620 on a Saturday, so it's going to be 2 p.m. Amsterdam time. And I'm going to join the Flat Earth debates over at Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, which should already be started up. So I'm going to join there as soon as I round out. Hope to see you there in the chat, and until the next video, keep it flat.